What's going on, everyone? You may, in your daily life, have to interact with a public business. Maybe you had to use emergency services. Maybe you had to use health services. Maybe you had to use customer service. Anything that involves a company that has a labor force. Well, you may have noticed to get that help on phone, it's taking a little bit longer. To call for an ambulance sometimes, taking a little bit longer. To send your kids to school, they may be combined with another classroom. There's a teacher shortage. You may, in some way, shape, or form, deal with a staffing shortage. Well, there's a lot of them out there. Let's go through some of them today. But first, let's go through a major region, what's causing the staffing shortages. And by the end of this video, I'm sure you will be convinced things are not okay and everything is on the brink of collapse when it comes to the workforce. New data shows long COVID is keeping as many as 4 million people out of work. This is not new data. This is from back in August 24th of 2022. And at that point, it was already at 4 million. That was over a year ago, or almost a year ago. Here we are in April of 2023, and that list has grown. It's probably as many as 5 or 6 million now as it continues to grow. And this is causing there to be a shortage of workers in a lot of places. So let's just go through a list here. No particular order. We're just going to read the headlines. Maybe there'll be one or two we go a little deeper into. Starting off here. Who remembers when Biden came out with the Build Back Better plan? The plan to upgrade this country to high-speed internet in places that still don't have it. Well, that's hit a snag. Read the headline. The U.S.'s $42.5 billion high-speed internet plan. It's a snag. A worker shortage. Shortage of fiber technician cast doubt on the White House goal to bring fast internet to every home this decade. Yep, that's in a labor shortage. How about this one? There's a labor shortage in the agriculture industry. Labor shortage hitting agriculture industry. And let's just read the first part of it. Wisconsin. Area farms are being forced to adapt as they struggle to find workers. Well, if farms are struggling to find workers, who's going to provide the meat, the poultry, produce, anything else that needs to get from the farm to the grocery store to the table? It starts at the farm. If there's a problem there, there's going to be a problem with supply at the grocery store because they're not going to have the workers to get it ready to be shipped off to the grocery store. Moving on to our next one here. This one is, where are all the workers? Start with childcare. Politicians and others say more than 60% of Framingham children ages 3 and 4 are not attending any form of preschool, a gap that city officials and those in the industry attribute to a shortage of early childhood educational professionals. Yep, there's a shortage with childcare. Let's go on to the next one. Oh, we're keeping on the theme of childcare with this one. PA committee takes steps to address school staffing shortage. So there's a staffing shortage with schools in my state of Pennsylvania. Let's move on to this. Staffing shortages have steamships scrambling. Look at this ship right here. Apparently, there's a staffing shortage, and they're having trouble operating this steamship because they don't have enough employees to do so effectively. Next, Denmark officials. Yeah, see, now we're going international. It's not just a United States problem. It's all around the world. Denmark officials warn of flight disruptions at Copenhagen Airport due to staff shortage. This was on April 23rd, so mind you, though we started off with something that was from last year, the majority of what you're seeing here is very recent, some within just the last few days. And it's just totally ridiculous. Continuing on to our next one. Staff shortage is now affecting 24% of multi-family owners, managers. Survey finds several parts of commercial real estate were permanently changed by the effects of the pandemic. Increasingly, it looks like property management is one of them. So it's affecting the property management industry. Moving on to the next one. This is from a PBS in Wisconsin. Concerns over assisted living conditions amid staffing shortages. So it's affecting the assisted living industry as well. Look at this. It's actually a whole story about this. This one I'll probably share on Twitter. A married couple at an assisted living facility in Wisconsin shares their health and concerns about shortages in state's healthcare workforce. Moving on to this one. Staff shortage causes strain on MW Fire EMS staff closures at one of two stations. I believe this is in Texas. In Mineral Wells, Texas, a staffing shortage is being blamed for temporary closing of one of two Mineral Wells fire and EMS stations. 2.5 days this week, so that's not good. And this was back on April 19th. Moving on to our next one. This is from the Huntsville Doppler. Staffing shortage has district facing financial crisis. A shortfall of some 100 employees. That's not one, that's not 10. That's 100 employees combined with predatory third-party agencies rushing to fill gaps are hammering the district of Muskoka financially. Barricade Bridge Council heard recently. And this is for not a school district. You may be thinking school district. It sounds like it's long-term care facilities as I read on about this. So, yeah, this is really bad. Moving on to the next one here. AFSCME reports staffing shortage by more than 3,400 at Maryland's correctional facilities. So they're short 3,400 workers. That's really bad. Moving on to this one here. Rural Paramedic says chronic staff shortage will result in avoidable deaths. So now it's to the point where they're so short EMS workers in Winnipeg. This is on the Winnipeg Sun. That it could result in deaths. I mean, you have cardiac arrest and say there's no ambulance or EMS or EMT available. Unfortunately, they're not going to get to them in time. This is really bad. Florida, HCA patients at risk due to low staffing, union wars. 2 patients died after workers at different hospitals failed to monitor vital signs, a report said. Gee, I wonder why. Because they don't have enough staff, they're burned out from the pandemic. And moving on to this one. It's not just here or in Denmark, it's also in Russia. It's happening all around the world. Russia suffering worst labor shortage in 25 years. Let's read that again. Russia suffering its worst labor shortage in 25 years. That's huge. Here we go. The labor shortage is pushing American colleges into crisis with the plunge in enrollment, the worst ever recorded. Gee, you wouldn't think long COVID would be a reason for that now, would you? It is. It's part of the reason. And finally, we'll end on this one. States warn of healthcare worker shortages as they prepped for next pandemic. Yeah, imagine needing to go in for, let's just say you need a significant operation. They have no one available at the moment because there's not enough staff. Yep, it's happening, and it's a real problem across the country. Let's read a little bit of this. As the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic appears to fade, we disagree on that because, as you all know, things are at the brink of collapse. You see all these staffing shortages, and you see what COVID's doing to the person's immune system. It's destroying the immune system. I am seeing so many people question, why am I getting sick all the time? I never used to get sick so often. What is going on? Why is my immune system so just damaged? Well, I can tell you, it's the coronavirus that's causing that. Coronavirus is not for every person, but for some people, it's really damaging the immune system. And any little virus that you get in contact with, you're catching it. And you're catching it bad. And it's part of the reason why we're having staff shortages. People are exhausting their time off, their sick leave, their personal sick days, and companies are saying, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do this anymore. We're going to have to let you go. Well, they're not able to refill those positions, and it's just resulting in absolute chaos. Then you have people who are out for long COVID. Then you have people who cannot get a proper education because they mentally can't comprehend the stuff because the COVID has messed up their mindset to do a proper education, or maybe they're just tired all the time. And when you're not getting people that are educated, getting skilled degrees, or even going to a trade school, guess what? That's less people that are going to be entering the workforce. So, yes, this is a real big problem. Stay tuned. We'll have another edition of this down the line. This is volume 2. I am sure there will be an edition 3 of this as we continue to watch this disaster unfold. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more content like this, hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button down below. I will see you all again next time, but until I see you again next time, stay safe and test negative. So long for now.